G'day legends, I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Now, last Thursday evening, I did a live stream in which I talked, as I normally do, about the two conflicts that I cover extensively. Of course, being the Israel-Gaza war and the Ukrainian-Russian war. 24 hours after doing that live stream, I was hit with a YouTube strike saying that I had violated their violent criminal organization's policy. I challenged this decision, and within 5 minutes, my appeal was turned down and my account remained the same. Now, noting on that 5 minutes that this was a 2-hour long video, so no human could have actually watched it. So I'm saying it probably went back through the same AI, whatever it is, and it's just done the same thing again, which I remember the video. You guys were probably there as well. There was nothing in that that would have actually gone against that policy. Now, after the appeal, they won't tell me what I said or did that was wrong. They won't even tell me which war I was talking about when I did or said whatever it was. Nothing, no idea. You get zero feedback about this. So to actually correct what you've done, there's nothing there. Even though I believe, and I think most people agree, we didn't actually do anything wrong. We report on news, and part of that is talking about criminal organizations. But this is the same with all my videos that have either been limited, age restricted, removed, or YouTube flags them. And when they flag them, typically they flag them as vulgar language in the title, which I'll show you here, which is just silly because the title or thumbnail, there's none of that in any of it. And that's what they're then flagging me for. So I just don't understand that. But as we know, in the beginning of the Russia-Ukrainian war, YouTube removed 9,000 channels and 70,000 videos under this policy. YouTube's Chief Product Officer, Neil Mahan, said to The Guardian at the time, "We have a major violent events policy, and that applies to things like the denial of major events, everything from the Holocaust to Sandy Hook," which is basically the best explanation of this policy that I can actually find. And reading this, I've definitely not violated any of this, although I'm being treated as if I have. Look, my main question is who decides what is propaganda, what is truth, what is dangerous, what isn't, especially when you're media news where you have to talk about these things which people may not want to hear about. Yeah, it's a criminal organization and you're talking about it. And there's so much content on this website that is factually incorrect, from war to social justice issues, indoctrinating people, all of that. There's so much on this, but at some point they've gone, this is okay and this then isn't. And I get it. I get that YouTube is a private company and they can basically do whatever they like. I completely understand that. But now Google owns YouTube, and Google and YouTube, they hold such a monopoly online and in the news media. The danger of suppression of news media, things like this, and censorship is global. It will have global effect. And I think the more we sort of see YouTube get watered down, I believe that is very dangerous, because this is where most people, including, say, myself, or most people maybe of my generation, this is where they get their news. And if you're suppressing a side, I believe that is a big issue. Now, these same rules is why I believe that you see very little YouTube content about Africa and Iran. Now, in my experience, reporting a little bit on these, as soon as you talk about some of the groups that operate there, YouTube will restrict and demonetize the video and potentially even add a strike to your account. And when you go through the appeals process is maybe accurate maybe 40 or 50% of the time. But with this specific type of content, it really isn't very accurate, because who's actually reviewing that? Like, it's some guy who just reviews all different types of content. He hears one of these groups and goes, oh shit, I better be careful. And I understand that, but you need like someone specific in this. You've got a $30 billion business, maybe have something more specific for news media. But like I said, this is why I think you don't see too much of that actually coming out. You need to remember that news and media is a business. Even talking on sensitive topics like this, it is a business. And if there's risk of accounts or videos being removed from further demonetization of the account or the video talking about a certain topic, news, media, YouTubers, whether they're private, whether they're The Sun, whatever, they will steer away from it. Ultimately then putting these wars and violations of human rights, pushing then those into the shadows as people go, I don't even hear about what's happening over there. And like it or not, news, media, it needs money to work. I had plans to specifically go to Africa, into Mali and Nigeria. And this was in the works for many, many months. But the more I saw that it will be demonetized or deleted the videos for doing those, talking about those groups that are there, there's no way that I could actually go there and recoup my funds, or if it gets restricted, reach no real audience there either. So many online journalists, bloggers, whatever you want to call YouTubers who do this, will absolutely turn away from that because it doesn't make sense to do. It's unrealistic to actually do that, to wear the cost of doing it. And especially if then you can't even reach a further audience. And this in turn is definitely a type of suppression and censorship and doesn't bring light to those issues. I think the more we speak about things, the better. And I do get why this policy is in place for recruiting into these organizations. But when you market videos, news and media, and they review it, they should review it coming from, okay, this guy's not recruiting for these. He's talking specifically about these groups. And I guess the key of this video, the point I want to get across is I'm very aware that there's a good chance that I will be removed from YouTube at some point because I won't toe the line. And that line's probably getting more and more like this of what you're allowed to do. Now, Rumble and Twitter, they're just not yet at the level that YouTube is for video creators. Now, Twitter's great for tweeting, whatever, but for video, it's just not really there yet. And my audience is here. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll put up a thing somewhere, but I never really post. And the added complexity in this, as well as a lot of other guys who do what I do, is as my YouTube has grown, my livelihood has now become dependent on it. So you get people in my thing like, shit, should I just toe the line? Because that's how I pay my rent every week. So it gets more and more difficult there for people and will end up towing the line and end up steering away from good, hard-hitting media and asking some hard questions or speaking about these groups. And especially then in these countries like we talk about, Mali, Nigeria, wherever it is where some of these crime groups are, it's just stupid. I can't even call their names or what they are. It's just going to get no exposure and it will continue for the people there. And most people on my account are Western English speaking people, will never know about it. And that's wider, a lot wider than just I am. But that said, I may censor some swear words or maybe the organization's names, but I'd honestly rather lose my channel than my own like ethical morality. So I guess with my account, we'll just sail the ship with a hole in it until we sink, and we'll sink together. So I have no idea what my future is going to be. I'm actually not sure if this video will actually upload yet. So if you do hear this, then it has uploaded. But legends, as always, I always do appreciate all of your support, whether you've made it to this point in the video, whether you're a Patreon member, anything, you guys are bloody amazing. But I thought I'd just fill you in on what's happening. And if you ever see me disappear, either the tumour's got me or the dorks in Silicon Valley somewhere have got me. Anyway, legends, look after yourselves. If you want a Willie's Wanker Group shirt, the Too Dumb to Dies, there's a link below. But legends, look after yourselves. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.